Welcome back to another episode of One Up, One Down Adventures. I forgot to film an intro, so I'm doing it at the end of the day. We had an awesome multi-species day. That cooler is full, and it is only like 2 o'clock. I'll see you guys on the water.
I feel like I've spent a lot of time going deeper, trying to extend my bottom time, trying to shoot bigger and bigger fish. But sometimes, all you need is the shallow stuff. Back to my roots, where it all started, with snapper and hogfish and the occasional big one that just happened to cruise by. This kind of diving is what made me fall in love with spearfishing. Even though commercial trips are fun, I love diving for dinner, and it feels like a crime not to do what you love.
That's a spot right there. It says 30, but that's just because it comes 20 feet off the bottom.
Welcome back underwater, everybody. Today was meant to be just like a chill day with the pole spear, shooting some mangoes and some hogfish for tacos. We're trying to do a fish pole too, but we get to the bottom, and on my very first drop, I see this cobia. Like literally the very first drop, just got off the boat. I shoot him, spine him right here, but cobia kind of struggled weird, so Evan thought that he was like not spine, so he put a backup shot in him. I would have done the same thing. Evan's shaft though, because he went straight through the fish, got stuck in the reef behind it, like it dangled down and just kind of got, the flopper kind of got hooked on the reef. So I'm going down to grab that shaft. This spot tends to get really sharky, so we're trying to work as quickly as possible to keep the cobia from just like dangling in the middle of the water column like that. So grabbing the shaft, you can see right here, it's literally just the flopper just like barely hooked on some part of the reef because it fell through. It fell down after the fish. Recovering the fish, and Evan's going down to grab it to make sure no sharks come and smoke that thing. But pretty cool fish for the very first drop.
Something cool.
Normally wouldn't have shot this fish, but I had the pole spear in my hand, so I blasted it. It was like barely a legal cobia. We actually had FWC come check our fish. So it was legal. It looks kind of small on some of these pictures here, but it was a literally like 36 to the fork. I love cobia poke, and this fish we did sashimi with, and then vacuum sealed and froze the rest. However, I did not get video of making the sashimi or anything. I just got video of us filleting it. If you guys want me to do more catch and cook style content though, let me know. Comment down below, and I'll be more intentional about filming when I am doing the cooking part. It's just most of the time when we cook the fish, it's after a long day of diving. I'm so exhausted that like filming is like the last thing I want to do. But sometimes it's enjoyable. Sometimes I cook it the day after, or I like unseal fish that I'd shot like a month before or something like that. But I'd be totally open to doing some catch and cook stuff. This is a cool little hole that we were seeing a lot of big mangoes in, and I was trying to stalk it with the pole spear here, but keeping that pole spear loaded in my hand for this long just sucks. Like gripping it and holding tight to try to have it ready for when I'm able to shoot a mango. So I ended up switching to the gun after this dive because I knew where the honey hole was. Like I knew where the fish were. I just needed like something that was a little bit less challenging to get a couple mangoes, and then I was gonna go back to the pole spear. But this was a meat trip, so I needed to just get a couple of those mangoes. So I'm on my way back down, going to the exact same spot. The like same little hole, that little crack in the concrete. For some reason, it was just loaded. The first dive that I did on it, there was a big hogfish sitting in front of it, but I wanted a mango, so I didn't shoot the hogfish. And then when I went back down, the hogfish was gone. So I'm going back over to find the exact spot. You can see I'm not like exactly on it when I land, so I'm swimming forward to get to where it is. And as I'm going there, I see a couple mangoes sitting in between these pilings here. I kind of sink down, looking at them. I'm waiting for this guy to come out and give me a good shot. If you're patient with these guys, they will come out to you, especially when you're wedged in the reef like this and hiding. They're not super shy. Gives me a shot, and I take it and stone him. It's really important when you're doing this kind of diving in clear water like this that you hide yourself in the reef and that you don't swim around too much, because the more you swim, the more you look like a predator that they're used to seeing, right? Like sharks, dolphins, all these things, they swim constantly. Goliaths kind of stay still, but they don't lay on the reef. They don't like get their belly flat onto the reef or sit right up in the crevices. And when you do that, you either look to them like something they haven't seen before, and so they get curious, or you diminish your profile such that they don't register you as a predator because you're squishing yourself into the reef. So try to opt against prowling around the reef and swimming as much as you can, and stay more glued to the bottom if you're hunting this kind of shallow artificial structure like this. So this is that same hole from before. I dropped the chum bag in front of it to try to lure these mangoes out, and I was just diving on top of the chum bag. And here you can see they've come out, and I get a shot on this one. It tries to swim back into the hole, but if on the same dive you have enough breath hold, you can just rush up in there and grab the fish before it gets you all tangled up. Sometimes they even swim themselves out like this one did, but I like to be safe and not have to do recovery dives, especially of sharky spots. Nice little mango. Gonna have to get a couple more to get tacos for the whole family. Alright, take another drop. That same little area, you can see the chum bag right there. Like, the way that I was doing these drops is like, I could see the yellow of the chum bag barely from the surface. It was like 55 feet to bottom. And I would just wait until I could see the yellow of the chum bag and then drop, start near the chum bag and work my way towards it. Because as soon as they see me coming down, they spook back towards the structure. But if I sit on this chum bag, I look like something that's trying to eat the chum and not necessarily eat them. And so they start to creep back out towards me from the structure after they spook. There's Evan. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to look like something that's eating the chum, that's not after the mangoes, and they start to creep back over towards the chum, and I missed that shot. I should have waited a second longer. But after this one, I grabbed the chum bag, and we moved spots, because we hadn't really been seeing as many or as nice ones as we had before. I had to go back down and recover that shaft. So yeah, we ended up changing spots here. So at this new spot, it was like less than a minute run away, and we didn't even get up on plane because it was all in like the same reef box. But this spot is a sunken barge. There's one like tall part that comes off of it that might have been like the cabin that they steered it from or something. It's that thing right there. And we drop we always put the boat right above this and drop the chum bag down. There's a few other videos that we dive this spot in, but you can see all the little mangoes are just sitting right on top of the chum bag, coming out of that tall thing. The bigger ones are coming from the barge. They like to sit out by the barge and get in the cracks there. So that one over there is much bigger than the rest. So I'm able to plug it at the very end of my spear gun's reach and bring him up. Eventually, we move to hunt the barge itself when we run out of chum, and that's when the really big mangoes start to show up. We shoot a pretty big one from right in front of that tower that came in from the barge to the chum bag. But yeah, it's really hard to get them on the barge because they will just tuck into a crack, and because of the way the barge is like just barely coming off the ground, it's hard to get a gun in or even look into the holes that they're in because it's just like a flat slab that's a couple inches off of the bottom that goes all the way back, and they just get as far back as they can, and there's no reaching them. Like if you shoot one, you're just gonna get your shaft stuck. But here's Evan going down. And we've got that chum bag sitting down there in front of it. And you'll see here that he's looking out towards the barge to see what comes in as he's grunting. And I've got the big camera here. I'm following him with it. Kind of glides down. There's that tall tower on the left there. And he's sitting right behind a piece of structure that he can hide behind. You can see it to his left here, and you can see in front of him. He's hiding most of his body. There's this red grouper right here that I take a mental note of so that I can shoot it later. It tucks into this hole. And so I shift back to Evan. You can see how well he's hiding his body. Shoots the mango that comes from the barge, and it takes off back towards the barge. Evan follows it, and then we have the fun task of recovering it because it swam all up into stuff. But Evan's shooting line got caught. So this is my perspective again. His shooting line got caught before the mango could really get back into the barge and like give us really big problems. So I'm on my way down. This is the first recovery dive, so I'm trying to locate his shooting line. There's that red grouper again. And I can see his gun here. It had moved very far forward. You can see the shooting line. And I'm just slowly unraveling it to see where this mango got off to. And I swam all the way up to this part of the barge and tried to get under this ledge. So now that I know where it is, I just do some unraveling so that I can put myself directly above it and do a proper drop on it the next time. Trying to get some unraveling done, but it's pretty wrapped up, so I have to go straight up. Grab the gun and open the reel up so that we're able to use it to mark our drops for this recovery dive. And then breathe up and take another drop. This is actually like the third or fourth recovery drop because this thing was just so tangled that it was very hard to deal with. Evan had killed it the dive after we found it down there. So the fish is dead. We're just trying to untangle him. And you can see how far back he is in there. And you see that little hole he had gone through. That's where the shooting line got really stuck and kept him from going even further back. If he had kept going further back, we probably wouldn't have been able to get him. So I'm pushing his head through there. And then I just have to get this little line off. Swim straight up with him. You'll see in a second that he's a nice one. He's probably 5 pounds maybe. Maybe 4 pounds.
That's a hoss. Woo!
Nice fish. Evan's doing the gutting on him. A nice little celebration shot there. Now I get to go shoot that red grouper that I had seen twice now. Getting down with the pole spear because I wanted to get back on the pole spear. And the nice thing about these red groupers, they're not scared of anything. They'll let you sit right in front of them. So I knew I could get a pretty cool shot of me shooting at the pole spear. Got down next to the chum bag and he was just right there. Sitting in front of the chum bag, staring me down without a care in the world. Here's the shot from the big camera here. You can see him just sitting right there. Stone him. There's Evan with the big camera. And then I just head straight up with him. Threw him in the tacos with the mangoes. Last dive here with the gun. And this was kind of unexpected. Yeah, I mean, you can see the mackerel there, but I didn't really expect for this to be a multi-species day. Like, we already had a cobia, we had a bunch of mangoes, we now have a red grouper too. I was like, that's pretty good for the species. I get down here though, and as I look up, I'm recovering the chum bag. That's like my main job on this last dive, and I see this nice hogfish just come in. I'm like, yes, please. So I stone him and head up. And that's like the perfect amount of meat, I'd say. Because the cobia is like for me and Evan, and we're going to vacuum seal and save it. And then the rest of the fish we just did tacos with. So it ended up being the perfect amount for me, Evan, and my family of 5. Got a nice little male hogfish there, next to the chum bag. And that's all for the underwater content. I'll see you guys next week.
Okay, we're back. That was an awesome multi-species day, and we're heading back out to these same spots tomorrow. We might go out deeper that way, but we're not sure. Stay tuned, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. We got fish survey checking out some of our fish here. Little cobia, little reef actions, great. Louis.